AXPONA 2026 is over, and man, it was killer. Attendance was up by 15%. There were over 12,000 people there. 750 manufacturers from over 50 countries. 235 rooms playing music. It was epic. So, we've got interviews with some of the best people in hi-fi that were there in AXPONA. Our marketing team members, Jordan and Gotham, sought these people, hunted them down, and interviewed them. It's great content. I can't wait for you to see it. First, I want to tell you about the room that we had. We were in Schaumburg H, which is a big room. It had Klipsch La Scala, the new one, the AL6, and we supplemented the lower bass region with the new REL. This is a 212 black label carbon subwoofer, just released this year, and the sound was amazing. We fed it with a Grimm MU2 for digital. We fed it with a turntable, a Dr. Fikert Trio, and a Phase-Mation cartridge. If you don't know Phase-Mation cartridges, man. The Phase-Mation phono preamp, 2 mono preamps, and a Phase-Mation hand-built 300B single-ended integrated amplifier with only 8 watts per channel, but glorious, smooth. It was more than enough to drive that system to really fill the room. People loved it. Then, on the other side of the room, we had another system. That's right, we had 2 systems there. And that system was a Musical Fidelity 800.2. This is a monster with 330 watts per channel. It fed a pair of the best Fyne audio speakers that they make. The F112 is the first model that they came out with. It's been improved over the years. There was a source for digital there. We did the Aurender N50. It's a 3 chassis unit. That fed the newest rendition of Berkeley Audio, their top of the line 3P reference. And that is also brand new. I'm talking too much about our stuff. I got to let you see these interviews that Gotham and Jordan did. Let's take a look. Thanks for watching.
All right, my name is Chris Shaw. I'm the North American Product Specialist for Focal and Naim America. First, we're here at AXPONA 2026 here in Chicago, and when we brought some new stuff this year, probably the talk of the show right now is the new Muso ECLA. This is our all-in-one 7.1.2 immersive solution, which has been fantastic. And of course, we also have the new, bigger sibling to our Diva line called Diva Mezza Utopia. I mean, we have a huge portfolio. Obviously, we are Focal and Naim, so we ultimately are showing everything in our floor standing product line on the Focal side, from Tiva to the Amata product line, Aria, Canta, Sopra, Diva, well, the Diva Utopia, the active speakers, and of course the Utopia line. On the Naim side, we're running everything from our Muso line all the way up into our new Classic 300 series. Yeah, we're having an amazing time here at AXPONA. Of course, with that is that, you know, we are very proud to partner with Upscale Audio, one of our premier partners. And with that is that, you know, they're very well informed, very intellectual. They're fantastic people, and of course, they're willing to help you out with all the Focal and Naim requirements that you have.
My name is Konradin Amft. I'm the second generation of T+A's owning family, and I'm the CEO of T+A. We're super excited to be at AXPONA for 2 major new products. One is the SDX 3100, our latest streaming DAC preamplifier. Okay. It builds on the SDV 3100, but has many more features, including our latest generation audiophile streaming architecture, G3, now coming with all the bells and whistles of built-in streaming services, but also Connect services. We've reworked the DAC section and the preamplifier section with a new way of tone controls. Yes, there is a huge part of our portfolio is electronics, but also we've got the speakers like our Solitaire S540 that we are demoing here with cylinder wave technology, but also we've got the Talus speakers, which are very popular, and our Criterions. But I'll be completely honest with you, people associate us mostly with electronics, but we also see an increase in our speaker popularity and of course our headphones. We've got many new cool products in the pipeline with our user interface team that's working on redoing the entire way that the T+A product looks, but retains the feel. So it's not about doing everything from scratch, but actually retaining what people liked about the product and adding features that people have asked us about. But I'm really excited to be here with the SDX 3100 and A3100. So if anyone out there is interested in our reference level streaming DACs and preamps as well as power amps, that's the way to go, and we'll be very excited to introduce them officially and deliver them in the coming months.
Nice. And so finally, I think just one thing, so this is going out to our Upscale audio customer base.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable, is there something you'd like to say to our customers?
Just thank you. You make our work so special, and it's great to be in touch with you, to read about your enthusiasm, to get your feedback. So thank you very much. And yeah, we're very excited to be making products for all of you. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So hi guys, this is Aki from Eversolo. Today we are at AXPONA 2026 and room 640. We're waiting here for you.
So that's great. So could you tell us a bit about what you're showing in the room today?
Currently we have two main systems showing here. We have like one T8, our streaming transport. So with our DAC Z10, is a high-end standalone DAC, goes with one Burma speaker. And the second system is our current flagship product, the DMP810. We got it with a streamer, DAC, and the preamp inside of the case. And we go in with an amp F10, so great power to connect to the speakers. Okay, so we are really great to be here this year. We see so many dealers, partners, and especially audiophiles and our users. Someone came to our room and said, oh, we really love your product. We got an AAS in our house. So really good to see the face, and we are happy to hear. And somebody told us that they loved our newest firmware 1.5.75, which we just added some brand new VU meters, and we just added internet radio is developed by the Arable API too. So they told me that they really love that. So why we can do this, why we release our OTA oftenly, because we want our products to stay at their best after we deliver to our users. And it's all backed by our powerful engineering team as well. They're so passionate and they want to help our customers to make the products good, and that's the reason why. Currently we have about like 40% engineers in-house, and that's it.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm David Solomon with Qobuz.
And so David, we're at AXPONA now, so what are you doing? Are you just taking it in? Are you going through the rooms?
Oh God, we're doing so much at AXPONA. The first thing that we did was yesterday morning I had a seminar. Well, actually over the last couple of months, we've been having some pretty wonky problems with cuts not being available, or at least it's saying not available. Well, what we were doing was actually changing CDNs, and it messed up our service for a couple of months. Thank God, like one day before the seminar was to start, I get an email and it's like, oh, well, we've got all of our problems finished and they're done. And so I tried it out, and sure enough, it's working great. So I get to the seminar, and there's like 150 people with arrows. They're ready to, to fling them all at me. And I'm like, okay, there's white elephant in the room. We haven't been working so well, but as of today, everything is fixed. So if you've had a problem with Qobuz, your problems are over. And it was our issue, but we got them finally taken care of, and everything is playing perfect. So I'm listening to Qobuz on almost every room that I'm going to today, and doing tons of flash DJ sessions and just having a great time. Yeah, well, for me, probably the most exciting thing that's happened to Qobuz really since we've really caught up, and we really have the same music now as everyone. The thing that's really excited me the most is the Qobuz Connect feature, which allows you to just take up the app, the Qobuz app, and play straight from the Qobuz app, and it controls the server that you've got. And what's so really cool about that is you never have to switch device. You never have to switch apps, right? It's like all of the apps are different, and all of them try to simulate what Qobuz does, but nobody does it all the way. So now you can go straight into Qobuz, switch whatever server you've got and play directly from Qobuz. This allows you to save all of your music in one place, because like if you've got like 3 or 4 servers and they're different kind of servers and you're saving music on one and some music on another and some music on another, nothing ever really comes together. So if you save everything on Qobuz and play straight from Qobuz, then your music is always right there. I've known Upscale Audio since really close to the beginning. I met Kevin Dill really early on, and let me tell you, this guy is as wacky as he seems like he is on the videos, but in the most wonderful way. So when I first met Kevin, we did 2 things that it just totally blew me away. Of course, we listened to a lot of music, and Kevin's into tubes, so we listened to a lot of music on tubes in Kevin's home. This was before he had his shop, so at the end of the listening session, we stopped, and he goes, you got to see something I think that you'll appreciate. So he takes me in his back room, in his house, and I swear the guy's got, if it's not 100,000 brand new tubes, it's not one. It's the biggest collection of tubes I've ever seen in my life. But Kevin is a really passionate guy, and he's doing this all for the right reasons. He's doing it because he absolutely loves music and he loves performance, which was proven to me a little later that day when he took me out in his Ferrari in Upland, California, and started driving like he stole this car. We had a great time. He's got a great personality, and what a staff. We love Upscale Audio, and really from the bottom of our heart at Qobuz, we really, really thank you guys for the support, and we look forward to seeing you guys continue to flourish.
Hi, it's Nelson Choi from Lumin. Yeah.
I'm Angus from Lumin as well.
And so here we are at AXPONA. So can you tell me about what's new at Lumin and what you're showing at AXPONA?
We have the X2. This is brand new. We've released this year. This is the first time we've showed it in a show, international show. So this is very new with a brand new discrete DAC, which we spent 3 years developing it. So the system consists of the X2, the L2 music library, and also Lumin amp. So a very simple setup with the Mark 10 speaker.
I think we were all excited with the X2 that you moved on from the Sabre chips and developed your own. Can you tell us a little bit about that development?
Well, we have been using off-the-shelf chips for many years, and that's the first time we spent more than 3 years to develop our own. So we have the FPGA and to make this our own DAC first time. And but so far the feedback is very positive. Yeah.
Well, of course we want to make every single aspect of the sound a little bit better. The only constraint for using it off the shelf, I mean, not saying that the Sabre chip is not great. It's great. I mean, we use them in other products. But having a discrete design with an FPGA allows us to have the flexibility to tune every single aspect of the sound. So in terms of digital filtering, upsampling, every single aspect we can get our hands in, and we can kind of tailor-made a house sound of the Lumin sound that everybody is enough, you know. I mean, the new switch, Nelson is going to pick it up and you guys can have a look.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the world first review of the switch. So it's a very nice piece of kit. So you have 6 RJ45, all isolated from each other, and then you also have 4 ports of SFP. And we have a clock in as well. So if you use the U2X, you can synchronize the clock with the switch, and it's an amazing piece of kit with built-in linear power supply as well. So it's just the one-box solution that everyone is looking for. Oh, the Lumin amp is the Class AB design. A lot of people look at it and saying, it's a Class D, right? I mean, there's no heat sink, you know. It's so monolithic. It's like a block of aluminum. It's so beautiful. But no, it's a Class AB amplifier. So the whole enclosure is the heatsink of itself. And it's been designed to have a very high input impedance. So it's been designed to be driven by DAC directly, and also has a very high bandwidth so that people can actually enjoy the resolution and also the details coming from high resolution files or DSD files. We're the Lumins, and we make quality network audio products. Keep listening to music, and if you want to know more about Lumin, you can contact Upscale Audio. They're one of our dealers.
Well, we're really excited to showcase a 6-pack, right? We're famous for these line arrays, 3 subwoofers stacked per side, and we're doing that with the S550, which is the entry level to our Series S, $3,300 per subwoofer. And we are partnering with other vendors, including Watt-Ax. We also have D'Agostino's Momentum Integrated. We have a pair of Watt Puppy 50th anniversaries from Wilson. It's a really cool show, right? We get to partner with great brands, and we get an opportunity to showcase what makes us entirely different. So a significant component of the sound of our reference speakers really is how they're squashed, so to speak, right? And kind of a wide profile. It turns out that that haunched profile, just like an athlete, has a lot to do with how the subwoofer releases bass into the room. And that's why the profile of these new woofers really mimics the profile of the number 31 and number 32. The wood grills are a big deal because it got my mother to approve of my father purchasing subwoofers. And so we know it's a big deal, right? A mid-century modern appeal is how I tend to look at it. Those are solid walnut slats, and they just happen to sound better as well. And right, because if you think about it, all loudspeakers, whether it's a subwoofer or a tweeter, when you put a cloth grill in front of it, it's like lightly waterboarding that driver is like my favorite example of that. There's a little bit of compression of air behind that. And so this actually allows it to be beautiful, protects the drivers and the cones from maybe unwanted small hands or maybe little kitty paws, right, depending upon your household, and still gives you the full value of the product's sonic presence. So for me, the highlight is really getting to geek out with people like you, getting to see other friends and colleagues, and of course, getting to meet the fans of Rel Acoustics and your customers who come in. Now, every year I get to see new people, but I also see the same people over and over again. And there is something really special about building a personal relationship. Because while you and I often speak about product, the reality that you know is that we're really trying to connect with an artist. We're trying to spend time with our spouses. We're trying to spend more valuable time with our kids. And I think sometimes in talking about watts and specs and driver sizes, we miss that you and I are really here connecting over music together. Yeah. So that's really the highlight for me as you guys. Plus, the opportunity to show a set of products that most people will never get to hear in real life. So if you have any friends, any colleagues, anybody who loves music in your life who is in the Chicagoland area this weekend, they should come by and check out a 6-pack. Hey everyone at Upscale, my name is Isaac and I am the Director of Sales for North America for Rel Acoustics. I am so grateful to get to spend time with my friends like Gautam as well as Kevin Deal. Now, I've been doing this for a very long time and I got to meet Kevin for the first time buying tubes as a kid when I was 15 or 16 years old. You can't even imagine how exciting it is for me to be here today to support you and support Upscale. We are big fans and we hope to see you at the next event.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Kunis.
And I'm George Kunis.
And we own Zesto Audio, and we're at AXPONA in room 418.
Yeah, feel free. We're featuring a new DAC, a tube DAC. We had a prototype here last year, but this is the full production model. So it will do 32-bit up to 384, and we'll do up to 8 times DSD native. So it actually, it doesn't upsample, downsample.
But the real beauty of a tube DAC, which is very different from all other DACs, is that digital creates a lot of noise, and most of the challenge in designing a DAC is getting rid of all the digital noise. But the beauty with a tube DAC is it doesn't even see the noise. So it's inherently more musical. Yeah, so we have award-winning analog tube products, partnered with like world-class digital designers. Took 2 years to come to full production on this. And we're very proud.
And how has the reaction been?
Oh, really good.
Very.
I mean, people are kind of surprised. So what they're surprised is, the reaction is that it's more musical. You don't get, what it comes down to is we're known for our phono stages, so we wanted to create something that was more similar, that had that similar kind of sound, even though it was a digital product.
Okay, well, okay, so we talked about our Athena DAC, and then it goes into our Lido Ultra 2 preamp. You know, this is the heart and soul of the system, really. And it's an amazingly neutral product, is with the comments that we get. But then when we play vinyl, of course, Zesto is known for their phone stages. We make 4 of them. And so this is our Andros Deluxe, and that is Product of the Year, phono stage from the Absolute Sound. So we're very proud of that. But I have to tell you, the real light bulb that went off with me was the power amps. And the reason is that a power amp lets everything in the system live up to its potential. Like, you can have these great speakers, which they clearly are YG. We call them the power couple. Meet the power couple. Zesto driving these, and they like to be driven. So, yeah, these make everything sing.
So the 250 watts Class A tube amps. And so you need that kind of power.
Which is like 600 watts of solid state. I mean, these are, you know.
And these YGs are just amazing. The Sonya 3.2s, they've been easy to set up and they work. So that's a big deal. So yeah, please come and see us in room 227 at the show in Los Angeles. We're going to be using actually some of the similar stuff. We'll have our DAC, we're doing YG speakers again, pretty much kind of the same setup. So if you've missed this, please come and see us there, and you can hear the system.
So Garth, I think let's start with the bit that I'm personally most excited about, is that I'm hearing that there's going to be a whole new range of cables and a new technology that you're calling Extreme. Could you tell us about that?
Okay, well, the Extreme cables, one of the primary features will be a new Extreme conductor. We try to be no tone, no damage, you know, like do no harm. But whether you're a neutral cable, a bright cable, a dull cable, a warm cable, a lustrous cable, or something like that, that's not what we're about. But particularly with conductor technology, what we're looking for is not manipulation of what's there, more of what's there. So when you're starting with a very, very pure conductor in terms of its copper grade and the way in which it was made and drawn, that makes a big difference, and we've always paid attention to that. And we've also paid attention to directionality of the grain orientation so that we can make sure that we're doing the most efficient job of draining all the noise that we can't dissipate, because you can have the most effective radio frequency filters in the world and you'll never get it all. You have to drain the rest of it. We do. It's a choice to be made. We make that choice. I personally have done the testing for that of every single conductor that comes in that's going to be turned into a cable for the last decade. Part of the problem is going to be that you're starting off with about a 1/4 inch rod, and then you're drawing that down once, twice, up to 30 times to make the gauge of wire that you need to work with. Each time you do that, you're creating more damage, even if you're very careful about it, even if you got the best factories in the world. Okay, and then you have to anneal it and treat it and do other things. What if you did the best job with high purity copper, for example, you possibly could, you make the gauge you need a little undersized, and then the last amount of, you know, like the conductor, more than would, you know, like basically be needed for all of the high frequencies due to skin effect, and you plated it. But instead of plating it the way it's been done traditionally, where you're plating that large rod that then gets destroyed and more distorted each time that it's drawn down to the size you need. No, let's not do it that way. Let's do it the way you do it with jewelry in a dip process. It's going to be much harder to do, much harder to get uniform, much, much more expensive. But what if we did a small batch of wire and say we're going to go for 20 gauge, typical for an interconnect. And we make it a little smaller than 20, but as perfectly as we know how, and then it is put through a copper plating tank to where you're actually using that specific roll and you're plating that to the gauge that you need. and then annealing that, make it more malleable and as good as it possibly can be. The main thing about this is it's not even the plating that's special where this is concerned. It's how and when the plating's being done in the process. This is what people are not going to necessarily understand. Because again, when you plate the way it's always been done for every wire you've ever heard, and you plate that large rod, all the advantage of the smoothness, the uniformity, the perfection of that plate is being destroyed a little bit more every time you draw it down.
Okay.
And it's never going to be less than 2 times for an average interconnect gauge, for example, typically 3 or 4, and for many gauges that people are used to having or putting in their premium cables, it can be up to 20 or 30 times.
Oh, okay.
It's it's 1 time with our extreme process.
Yeah.
It's done direct at the time on that bespoke, spool of wire. The summit and performance level of dealers are the ones that will have these extreme cables because they are at a premium. It's expensive to do this process. But here's what's interesting. The copper-plated copper, extreme copper, conductor outperforms our perfect surface silver, the best conductor we've ever made available or ever knew about. And believe me, we tested silver from a lot of different manufacturers to come to that conclusion and have continued to do so through the years as they've been presented to us. This beats perfect surface silver 10-1. This is a bold statement. I'm an engineer, I'm careful, but I'm going to make it. Conductors are so pivotal to everything else you build around them for a cable. I don't know that I'm going to have another improvement the rest of my career this significant.
Oh, wow.
It's that big of a deal. Silver-plated silver, even better still.
Okay.
Ungodly expensive though with this process. So it'll be very limited in terms of where it's used. Well, I'll tell you what, at this show, one of the new products we're very, very excited about in our power range is the PowerQuest 909. Yeah, you're talking about $24.99, for retail. The cord that comes with that unit is roughly 95% of a monsoon. That's at 2 meters, that's approximately a $700 at retail cable. Who else is going to put, a third of their budget approximately into their power conditioner in terms of the cable that comes in the box? Nobody. The problem though is that what people will often miss, the most important cable in the entire system, they all matter, everything in the system matters. But the most important cable by far is the cable that goes from your AC outlet in your wall to your power conditioner. Because that is your plumbing, your trip back for all the induced noise back to earth ground. If you don't get it right there, everything else is for naught. This is Garth Powell from AudioQuest. One of the things that I have enjoyed about my relationship with Upscale Audio for many, many years is just not their clear dedication to sound quality and making sure everybody puts the best systems possible together for their listening pleasure. But it's the emphasis they have on education, the emphasis they have on their customers understanding what's out there and how to assemble it properly. It's not just about taking something that's well regarded or well respected or that's gotten a good review. It's being able to deal with professionals that live and breathe this and really know their stuff. From Kevin and everyone down the chain, it's just the best group of people to work with. I really, really enjoy Upscale, and I enjoy any time I ever have to visit with them. Thank you so much.
If you are watching the end of this, you hung out for a long time to get here. I want to thank you, and please hang out with us sometime. We'll give you a hug if you show up at AXPONA next year. Take care.